Yeah. Sarah?
This one?
All right, in honor of the Salute Armed Forces Every Day acknowledgement, I'd like to ask all service members and veterans to stand to be acknowledged. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge of
Okay,
allegiance.
put it back here. Put the.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Commissioner roll call.
Chair Gutierrez. Vice Chair Chavez.
Present.
Commissioner Cruz.
Present.
Commissioner Palmero.
Absent.
Commissioner Jackson Kelly. Present. Commissioner McFadden. Present. Commissioner Palmer. Commissioner Emmons.
Present.
Commissioner Dale.
Present.
Commissioner Nyola.
Present.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Carmen. All right, next agenda item is approval of the minutes. So at this time, please read over the minutes you have in your folders. Anything to discuss?
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Can I get a roll call for approval? Commissioner Crooks?
Agree. Approve.
Commissioner McFadden approved.
I approve.
Abstain.
Approved.
Commissioner Emmons?
Approved.
All right. Looks like we will move on to
Public comment for approval of the minutes. Anybody's invited. All speakers are invited. They are limited to 3 minutes, in person or online. Do we have anybody in person or online that would like to comment? Yes.
Several months ago, I had the opportunity to offer public comment with the imminent opening of the mayor, the residencies at the mayor, located at 5500 West Hollywood Boulevard. This is an age-restricted building, 55 and older. Our initial allotment was 20 VASH vouchers through the county's coordinated case management program.
Point of order. This is for approval of the minutes, not for public comment.
It's public comment for
For
the
approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought,
No, public comments.
what would you prefer me to do, sit?
Right. Okay.
Not public comment. This for approval of the minutes.
sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, okay,
No, it's
It's
confusing.
kind of confusing.
yeah,
No
Public
problem.
comment specific to
The
the
minutes.
minutes,
The
yeah,
minutes.
yeah. It's a little confusing. There has to be a public comment after every
Yes,
agenda item
yes.
now, yeah, okay. Does anyone have public comment related to the agenda, the approval of the minutes?
Vice Chair, we have two hands raised online. Drew, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hello,
Yes,
can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go. So hi, my name is Drew Robbins. I've addressed the commission in the past. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. I enlisted in the Marine Corps shortly after 9/11. I served 2 tours in Iraq before coming back to LA. Eventually, I made my way to New York. I started my career in real estate finance. Today, I've financed over $10 billion worth of commercial real estate properties, both
Sure.
construction. Yes?
Sorry, this is for public comment for the minute approval. If you have public comment, I'll have to wait until later.
Like a couple days.
Okay.
Just 1 minute, just
Yeah.
a couple of sections down. Next is. next
Yes,
agenda.
we have George online. Can you please unmute yourself, George?
George?
Oh,
Are you there, George?
it seems he take down his hand, so we can continue.
Okay. So next we have the chairman's report.
No, now you go to public. Go to public comments.
Oh, the next chairman. Yes.
Let's move on to number 5. Jump to number 4. Let's move on. Now the public comments. Huh?
No, we're looking at the, yeah, it's misnumbered in the packet that was in. Yeah. Okay.
You're right. That was Mr.
All right. Chairman report, the notice of the meeting was sent out with the date and time. Also, the you can visit mva.lacounty.gov, scroll down to the and get the dates. Also, your public comment forum update, you can view the forum addition of call-in section. As well as, so the public comments are going to be available online as well. And then the meeting presentation schedule, they're working with the department to schedule. I do apologize. I did not have this slideshow prepared. I am not the chair, so I am going off of what this presentation says here. So next we will move on to public comment, general public comment. Commissioner Crooks. So,
Vice Chair, we have Sue Myers for public comment. Audience.
Good afternoon again. So we started out with 20 VASH vouchers through the county's coordinated case management program. We have 15 of those left, 55 and older. So we remain working hard on that. I'm pleased to report that this summer we'll have 100 studio units available nearby the mayor on the Hollywood area. That is also age restricted. And the summer off. Family development project, 66 one-bedroom unit. So we're pretty excited to be here again tomorrow for the housing fair. And I really just wanted to show my appreciation to MVA for helping to get the fair tomorrow and for communication and support through this whole process. The whole one team has been terrific. So thank you.
We have another public comment, Anthony Altman.
Warm welcome. Thank you. Commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Allman, former 3rd District Commissioner and current Executive Director at Vets Advocacy. Yesterday, the public received an updated notice for today's meeting reflecting VA's absence on the agenda. If VA were here, I'd ask the department 2 questions. Why are you letting the principal developer team execute on buildings 408 and 409 when the legal authority for the proposed concept was never there, the proper selection was never there, and the construction of both buildings backed with limited project-based vouchers comes at the expense of allocations needed to complete the North Village concept under a known statutory cap? I believe this is wildly irresponsible. In addition, on April 8th, both buildings 408 and 409 are under consideration for over $80 million in state of California bond financing. Why allow such a substantial investment in projects that have known community concerns and planning deficiencies? I feel an obligation to support these important questions using the public record available to veterans since 2021. Doing so may also convince you that the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs is on the wrong track at VA West LA. On November 18, 2021, VA's Deputy Medical Center Director shared in a town hall meeting that plans for the proposed Master Plan 2022 Town Center were, quote, not, quote, currently allowable under VA's Enhanced Use Lease Authority at the time. In March 2022, VA Secretary McDonough approved that plan anyway, despite 2 prior attempts by the VCOEB to flag issues related to the town center planning. 3 months later, a representative for the principal developer team spoke publicly about their intent to amend the West LA Leasing Act for the purpose of carrying out plans for the town center, including 408 and 409. During further questioning, it became clear that the VA Office of General Counsel did not agree with the principal developer's existing interpretation of the Leasing Act. In August of 2022, the PACT Act was signed into law, changing VA's enhanced use lease authorities nationwide. However, it must be stated for the record that those changes did not impact land use at VA West LA. That's not my opinion. In January of 2024, VA Office of General Counsel provided a public briefing and confirmed PACT Act modifications to the EUL program did not apply to VA West LA because of the West LA Leasing Act. The very next day, 2 equally important events took place. The public first learned about a statutory cap on project-based vouchers in a briefing provided to LACDA to the VCOEB. Disclosure of the cap was never mentioned in VA's Master Plan 2022. Second, VA's Office of Asset Enterprise Management shared that the principal developer, EUL, did not tell the PD to execute the town center. The rest of the comments are submitted for the public record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Vice Chair, we have online public comment. Hernandez, would you please unmute yourself? George, would you please unmute yourself? We can move to Drew. Drew, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. Thanks, everyone. My name is Drew Robbins. I've addressed, like I said, the commission in the past. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, enlisted in the Marine Corps after 9/11. I served 2 tours in Iraq. I eventually I went to Columbia University in New York City. I got a job in investment banking. I financed over $10 billion worth of commercial real estate, both construction, bridge financing, stabilized projects. So I'm, fairly familiar with, the ins and outs of master plan communities and the such. So I've kept tabs on the development at the VA, the West LA VA for, given my background. I'm concerned about where the campus is headed in the final stretch. Moving forward on buildings 408 and 409 now, when we have yet to complete the remaining housing residential community north of Nimitz, feels like a mistake. Common sense should prevail, and that the limited supply of vouchers should be prioritized in the same area as all the other supportive housing that is either open or already in construction, especially after Congress gave VA hundreds of millions of dollars to ensure the community's success. Needlessly removing land assets for 9 years without a well-documented strategy to continue housing construction beyond the voucher cap is short-sighted and leads me to believe the VA is not invested in the final outcome of the history of this property. VA is a healthcare agency, and even there, I have been reluctant to receive my care at VA, given the story after story of mishaps at the agency. This trial this past summer did not give me more confidence in putting my personal healthcare needs in the hands of the VA. The idea of putting the National Park Service in charge of the North Campus sounds like a great idea for me. I am all for the Pacific Branch National Veterans Park. We should protect the land's historical significance. As a former site for national home for disabled veterans, and relocate the healthcare operations south of Wilshire where they belong. At least this way, the VA can focus more on healthcare and less on land management. These leases, in addition to developing the coherent master plan, seem too much for the agency to handle. Maybe then we can also think about a more diverse housing portfolio that actually prevents disabled veterans from falling into homelessness in the first place. To use a healthcare expression, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have one more. Chan, would you please unmute yourself?
Did you say Chan?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Yeah, my name is Hanley Chan. I serve in the San Francisco Veterans Affairs Commission. Just trying to introduce myself. I think, of course, LA, you're the champion. You're the oldest Veterans Commission in California's history, and we're the second, so we're up there too. But I think there's a need for collaboration with commissions throughout California to support each other and support the needs of veterans. And I'm willing to help out and try to unite all veterans around California to have this common goal, getting veterans what they need. And of course, the number one topic of California is housing, and not enough housing within California. In San Francisco, we implemented this thing called below market rate housing. We actually pushed an initiative to give veteran preference, just like veteran preference points for hiring. We have veterans preference for housing. I think a collaboration within the whole California's commissions and try to implement more housing for our vets. I think there's a future potential collaboration with commissions throughout the state of California to help veterans in need. Thank you.
We can move to next agenda question. Fair enough.
Okay. Moving on to our next agenda item. We have the Department of Military Affairs from Director Jen Zenner.
Thank you, Vice Chair and Commission. It's nice to be here with you today.
I'm sorry. I apologize to interrupt. I believe we still had two.
So sorry, my voice sounds a little bit off.
USB device not recognized.
So we have, like was mentioned, the lease up event by Ms. Myers. We have our second lease up event
tomorrow. The first one last month, we had 100 veterans.
Apologies, but I believe we still had 2 comments to add to the general comment section.
For units with landlords on site. That's thanks to a partnership with the mayor's office, the VA, and our housing authorities, amongst other partners. So looking forward to hopefully getting dozens of veterans placed in housing tomorrow here at your Bob Patriotic Hall. We also have the Vet Expo. Solis's Vet Expo is this coming Friday, 9 o'clock at the Pomona Fairplex. Department's looking forward to being there and engaging with a lot of veterans and their family members. The supervisor's office has a goal of having over 500 veterans in their households at the event. So lots of employers, VA services, MBA, and a variety of other vendors will be on site. There's also food and entertainment for the kids and all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be a great time. So please come out and see us this Friday. On March 28th, the department is recognizing Mr. Jay Morales for his contributions to the department and the history of Bob Patriotic Hall in front of his family. So we're really looking forward to that event and honoring Mr. Morales for everything he's contributed to the department and quite honestly, his fellow vets here in LA County. So while we're not advertising it completely out in the open to the public, it is a public event. So if you do want to attend, the public is welcome to attend. And then of course, my Christmas, Vietnam Veteran Luncheon on March 29th. It's happening. It's our 3rd annual event. We're doing a luncheon this year because it falls on Saturday. But really looking forward to just packing the room full of Vietnam veterans and really thanking them for what they've done for all of us younger generations. And having a good lunch and having an even better conversation. So that's happening March 29th from 12 to 2 p.m. Some other updates. So we're working on VPN annual reports. Online, we only have 2021 available right now. We're wrapping up 22 and 23 here shortly. That's going to be placed on NVA's website and made public probably within the next month. We also successfully pushed a proposal for a mental health well-being program that would help augment what VPN does. So it's really a 3-pronged program that we pitched to the Productivity Investment Fund Commission here at LA County. It will allow for veterans and their families to be connected to outpatient virtual mental health real time, whether it's a therapist or a psychiatrist. Also, there is another component to where it's a proactive engagement, to where we're not waiting for veterans that come into the VPN fold that are at risk to reach out to us. We will be reaching out to them proactively. And then the third component is a reality center component, to where veterans can go get, veterans and their families can go get a series of sessions, up to 3 sessions through the reality center. It's a non-drug, it doesn't have any drug component to it, but it's like a psychedelic experience using tactile senses. But it really helps center veterans. Myself and a few of my staff have gone through it in the past, and it really does. It's comparable to feeling like if you've ever done transcendental meditation, how you feel centered. You can feel it physically as well as a mental energy after doing it. It provides that. So our veterans and families that we run into as a VPN team that are in distress and want that immediate service, it will allow for that service as well. Our last and final stage of the proposal is this coming Monday, where we pitch it to the full commission. So far, we've got thumbs up to get approval to be able to add that mental health well-being program onto VPN. And this isn't to replace the VA or DMH. We just know wait times to get into VA and DMH can be lengthy. We know that it takes a lot for our veterans to reach out to us for help, and so we want to have that immediate support available while they're waiting to get to the VA DMH or some other providers. So it's not a replacement. It's basically a holding pattern to make sure that veterans have the help when they ask for the help. So that's coming up. And then we also successfully pitched a transition program to work with transition service members and their families to provide education, financial counseling, and really boosting their network. We all know that our networks will get set aside while we're serving in the military. So that's really what our transition service members need from us is a boosting their networking. We started down that road. To work. Next, we are still supporting the disaster recovery centers in partnership with Calvet. Together, we've assisted over 800 veterans and their households. At one point, we had 3 sites. We now have 2 sites, one in Altadena and one in West LA. The department will be supporting disaster recovery centers until through March 26th. And then at that point, we will be a phone call away for any veterans and households that walk into the disaster recovery centers and need that support from MVA moving forward. But really appreciate Calvet and their leadership coming down and really mobilizing the county team to really provide that service. I think we've demonstrated in the future, as there's other disasters that come up, a way where, at least on the veteran side, we can mobilize services rapidly through our state partners. Also, I'm sure everybody's heard about the VA reduction in force proposal. We haven't noticed a lot of issues that veterans are facing, getting feedback from the community, other than the fact that some veterans are losing their jobs as a result of the reduction in force. And there's just a lot of worry about what that's going to mean for their care in the future. We're closely monitoring that, and we'll continue to stay in touch with the appropriate offices and individuals as, and of course the VA, as we get feedback from our community moving forward. I think the most concerning update is really the most recent update from the VA, where they are removing the provision of providing gender affirming care for our transgender vets. The department is working on putting together a report assessment for the Board of Supervisors to keep them updated on everything that's kind of transpiring, or that is transpiring as a result of the changes that are happening in the VA, so that we can take appropriate advocacy stances and look to provide support in areas that might become gaps as a result of the changes. And lastly, you've probably heard, like I have, many stories about a lot of different films being filmed in this building. Back in the day, there is an effort that used to be with the Chief Executive Office that now falls under the Department of Economic Opportunity. It's called Film LA. It's the county's outreach program to the industry to utilize county buildings for filming purposes. And so we're actively working with them and Warrior Heritage Foundation to set a price and really start outreaching to the movie industry to get films filmed out of this start filming out of this building again. That revenue would be like any other revenue, whether it's for like renting the building out for a wedding or a birthday party or whatever. The funding would go back into providing care for veterans. So all that revenue is basically will help offset the cost of the building and will fund things that we wouldn't be able to fund as a department normally. And that is it for my update, and happy to field any questions. Commissioner.
First, Jim Morales, what time?
That event is it starts at 1 o'clock.
1. The filming, maybe I should talk to you about that offline. I have some definite, well, not concerns, the input hopefully into that. They used to do that in natural history.
Okay. Great. Yeah, happy to take it offline.
Okay. I don't even know if I still have some of the information. It's whole different than like a quinceañera or anything else.
Mhm.
Totally different.
It is.
And you'll need totally different people watching your building. Totally different.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
Right.
I'll do that offline.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Director Zenner, for that report. Thank you, Commissioner Crooks. Do any other commissioners have any questions for Director Zenner?
Thank you, Director. Apparently, sharing is caring. You must have given me whatever you had. I do want to ask a question that came to my aware about 3-4 days ago that the agenda changed, and apparently we were waiting for the West VA medical, either associate director or the director, to come and make a presentation to this commission. Is there a reason why that did not happen?
Yeah, administratively, there's a change in process with the VA. VA leadership does need to get approval from back east to be able to attend public facing events. And so that created a delay to where they weren't able to get that pushed through in time to be at this meeting.
Okay. I would like to reserve some time during my comment period to address that. Thank you.
Commissioner Zeta, Jim, you said, was it 800 veteran families helped from the disaster relief centers?
Over 800. Yeah.
Over 800. Okay, thanks. Perfect.
Moving forward. Move on to our next agenda item, future agenda items. So we will go down.
Sorry, Vice Chair, we have public comments online, so can we go over the public comments?
Okay, so now we have public comment for the department's report.
George Arthur, would you please unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good afternoon. I'm addressing under agenda item 6. My name is George Pappas. I'm a retired Marine Captain, Naval Aviator from 1972 to 78, both active and reserve. I lived in Thousand Oaks for 40 years and used both the VA West LA and Sepulveda VA for my healthcare needs. Retired as a veteran, I actively advocate for veteran support for homeless housing and resources. As the past treasurer of Birmingham Chapter 73 Veterans Hall in Woodland Hills, I have led conversations about opening the land for additional veteran housing. I am appearing before you today to vocalize my support for exploring alternative management of the VA West Los Angeles North Campus. In reading the Wall Street Journal, I wish to bring 2 articles to your attention. Article 1 in the journal, March 16th, 2025, was titled, "Federal Land Can Be Home Sweet Home. Our departments are working together to solve the housing crisis." This was written by the HUD Secretary, Mr. Turner, and the Interior Secretary Burgum. Quote, "The Interior Department oversees more than 500 million acres of federal land, much suitable for residential development. The Housing and Urban Development Department brings expertise in the housing policy and community development. Together, we're creating a joint task force on federal land for housing to increase housing supply and decrease costs for millions of Americans." The second article is dated March 17th, 2025. "President wants to build homes on federal land. Here's what it would look like. Developing federal land could produce a surge in new housing, but it faced the same obstacles builders encounter. However, I opine that we in California paved the road for very similar initiatives. For example, San Francisco and the creation of the Presidio National Park as a financially self-sustaining partnership trust, providing both housing and community amenities, bar none. Additionally, California universities years ago established low-cost housing on their campuses for veterans, employees, students, and veterans of military service. The transfer of the West LA Los Angeles campus, particularly the area north of Wilshire, to the National Park Service could provide both housing for the homeless and working veterans and their families. Working veterans would have the opportunity to reside and raise their families in a Presidio-like environment and be close to veteran services. In closing, I'm requesting the members, you of the commission, to encourage the Board of Supervisors to begin a very quick conversation with the VA, Department of Interior, and National Park Service to create the Pacific Branch North National Veterans Park, a dedicated national home that would provide low-cost housing to all disabled veterans and their families, just like as the property was intended. In my written documentation, I did enclose the 2 articles that I'm happy to forward by email. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, George. Raul, would you please unmute yourself?
Commissioners, good afternoon. I serve as the District 7 Commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, overseeing posts located in San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Ventura County, San Fernando Valley, Santa Cruz, and the Northwest San Gabriel Valley. I'm also a resident of the Northeast Valley that falls under Supervisor District 3. As you've heard, veterans, including myself, are of the opinion that proceeding with buildings 408 and 409 before the North Village is a mistake. We should be using those 215 vouchers to complete the North Village concept as much as possible before the LACDA reaches its cap on project-based vouchers. It's unjustifiable to require veterans to walk a half mile or a quarter mile there and back to access services at the Wellness Center in Building 300, especially considering that Congress allocated $361 million to the VA for the establishment of a community for veterans at VA West LA. VA has made veterans live in tiny shelters for years. It's only reasonable for the VA to clear a parking lot and other facilities to facilitate the completion of the North Village design. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jennifer, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you. I have public comment for item 6. I was skipped. Is that acceptable?
Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Marshall. I am a Navy veteran and current member of the Congressionally Chartered Veterans and Community Oversight and Engagement Board, VCOEB. I'm here today speaking in my own capacity as a private citizen, not representing the board in any form or fashion. Since 2015, I've been eyewitness to events surrounding the master plan. I was at the very first public meeting. Like some of you, I provided input to the original draft master plan. Since my appointment to the VCOEB, I have benefited from countless briefings regarding VA's decision-making around the execution of the master plan at VA West LA. I am here to warn that veterans should be extremely concerned about VA's neglect for the historic Pacific Branch property. The list of grievances is too long for one 3-minute comment, but a gentle reminder, the VA is actively appealing Judge Carter's order to build more temporary and permanent housing for veterans on campus. If this project is going to be a success, we must look beyond just permanent supportive housing and develop housing programs that prevent veterans from spending one night on the street. I do not believe that VA is committed to this outcome, just as I believe VA's appeal demonstrates their lack of true commitment to addressing veteran homelessness. Over the past 10 years, I have seen a lot of excuses, snafus, unexpected obstacles, and a concerning practice of passing the buck. I do believe it is past time for the community to consider new leadership of the North Campus. I had the opportunity to read the op-ed, "Let VA be VA, Who Else Can Save the Pacific Branch?" And I believe it's worthy of consideration. The VA will always serve the healthcare needs of veterans, but they no longer should be making 10, 50, or 99-year land use decisions on the community's behalf. As an educated observer, it is clear that our veterans deserve more. I'd like to put out a call for action, end the cycle of neglect, and get a new federal agency to lead North Campus planning and development. I strongly support consolidating VA to South Campus and tapping the National Park Service to manage the North Campus community for current and future generations of veterans. We have to do better for those who have served this great nation. Thank you.
We have one in-person public comment, Tamiko Hirano.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. I'd like to make a comment about the transition program that Mr. Zenner just spoke about in his report. My name is Tamiko Hirano. I am the president and CEO of the Transportation Foundation of Los Angeles and the United States Veterans Foundation. We have an excellent program, an internship program for veterans who are transitioning back into civilian life. And I would like to, bring that up because we are looking for veterans to participate in our program. It is a paid program. We pay $21 an hour. Starting July 1st, it's going to go up to $22 an hour. And it's a flexible schedule for college students. We are all over in Southern California, USC, UCLA, Northridge, Long Beach, Cal State LA, Irvine. We are all over. Even like technical schools like DeVry. And we are looking for students who would like to work as an intern. It's a mentored internship program with the city of Los Angeles on live projects. So accounting, civil engineering, architecture, there's a whole gamut of positions that are available. And we encourage veterans who would like to get into an internship program with us. Our organization was established in 1992, so we are 33 years strong and still going. So if you would like more information, I have my business card. I have been a tenant of this building for many years, although now, our cubicle has been taken over and we only receive our mail here now because I guess there's been expansion of various programs from the LA County for veterans. But I would like to speak more to Mr. Zenner if you would like to give you more information. My contact information is on this card. I'm going to leave it with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No more public comments.
Thank you. Now, we will move on to agenda item number 8, future agenda items from our commissioners. Commissioner Crooks, do you have any future agenda items to add? Commissioner Jackson Kelly? Anything? No. Commissioner McFadden?
I would like to include a conversation or discussion on the Assembly Bill 53 or AB 53. I think it's something that it should be easy enough for us to have some space and time to converse. For those who don't know what that is, it's supporting military retirees and their families. It includes such things as state tax exemptions for retired military members and exemption for DoD survivor benefits, as well as program recipients. So I think it's something.
I thought that was gone.
So
That was still there.
that's why I'm like, we should have a conversation about it. It may be gone by the next meeting. We'll see. But that
Okay.
Just for my team, that's a request that goes to legislative affairs layer. So we can reach out to them to ask them for a briefing. We would bring in our state advocate to present to the commission.
or even if there's some written information on the current status of where it is? Because I feel like it's had some.
Oh, yeah, we can give you we can provide a written response for the commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'll also look some of my things. I thought it was gone.
Yeah.
I didn't even, I'm like, I thought there was, what?
I did request a briefing on that during the last meeting also. Thank you.
Commissioner Zeta?
I believe so.
Commissioner?
Yes, given that obviously the request to have an update on the West LIVA housing, that we put that back on the agenda and see if maybe by then they may have some clearance from Washington. However, I do want to put on the record that I'm very disappointed because when I requested this item and requested that they be contacted and be here at this meeting, it was very critical that they be here because there is a deadline that's looming that now at our next meeting, it'll be too late. And so I want to put on the record, hang on, I want to make sure I get the right. So I wanted the meeting this month because on April 8th, the California Debt Limit Allocation Committee is meeting. And that's where they make a determination about funding and moving forward on these housing projects or other projects. And so it was critical for us to ask those questions of the director, and he's not here today. And so it is disappointing. The veterans are not being served and transparency is not happening. So I want to make sure that that's clear. And I would request that the department reach out on our behalf if the commissioners are in favor of a joint statement that we are not satisfied with that and that this delay puts in jeopardy our ability to speak on behalf of the veterans because that's what we're here to do. Hopefully a letter, of advocacy from the department, if that's possible, will have them put the brakes on until they are able to come and brief the county commissioners so that we can provide some input to the Board of Supervisors about what is and is not appropriate for our veteran community. Because after all, that's what we're here to do, to serve and make sure that we protect the benefits of our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nayola. And for myself, I would request an update on the AV clinic that is scheduled to open up this fall. So I will be reaching out for a contact for that. Commissioner Emmett?
Thank you, Co-Chair. There is a farm located on the VA property. It's about 15 acres. And my understanding is that whole health department within the VA clinical part of the facility is operating that farm. And I'd like to request a briefing of exactly what's happening there with the agreements with the different organizations that I understand are supporting the clinical work that's supposed to be provided at that part of the facility. Thank you.
Are we talking about the garden?
It is also
The garden?
It is also referred to as the Veterans Garden.
Yeah, the Veterans Garden. That's what I've never heard of it as a farm.
Where is that
The
located?
Veterans Garden.
Well, it's 15 acres, so it's a farm.
Yeah, okay. I never heard it's a farm before.
Where is that located at?
It is located next to the UCLA baseball stadium.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Jackie Robinson Stadium.
Yeah.
Now moving on to public comment. For everyone's understanding, this is public comment that is only related to the future agenda items that were mentioned by the commissioners. If anybody has any comments related to those agenda items, again, those limited to 3 minutes, either in person or online. Does anyone have any public comments related to the future agenda items? No? No. Okay. Okay, moving on. The next agenda item is our commissioner announcements. Commissioner Crooks, would you lead us, start us off with any commissioner announcements that you might have?
I'm sorry.
Commissioner announcements, do you have any announcements?
No announcement, ma'am.
No, don't say that.
None.
I'm not,
today.
man.
That would change.
It's fine. Commissioner Jackson Kelly?
None.
I do have one for myself. If you ever find yourself in the Antelope Valley, Antelope Valley College is hosting a women's panel in honor of Women's History Month on March 26th from 12 to 2 on campus. There will be a light lunch served. We will have a veteran panel, women veteran panel there talking about their service and contributions and integrating into civilian life, student life there. And also SD5 is going to be hosting a town hall next month. Once we hammer down a location, we will be sharing those details with you as well for that. Commissioner Zato?
I'd just like to request another review by Legislative Affairs about this need for public comment after every, just some clarity around that one more time. I don't know what the process we need to do, but we can talk to the chair and vice about it, but it just seems like an
It's confusing.
arduous and confusing process that doesn't seem like anyone else is doing. So.
Commissioner Nayola?
Thank you. I'm not sure what the process would be here as my comments that I made just a little earlier. First of all, let me just make sure I want to clarify something. I want to make sure that the public understands that it's not the Department of Veteran Affairs, Military and Veteran Affairs that is the problem here in terms of communications and reaching out. And in fact, quite honestly, the staff has been very helpful. But as this frustration that I've sensed from the community, it's really more the VA. And so I want to make sure that message gets to the VA that, we here are not happy. And it's certainly not a transparent process. They may have their processes that they follow, but even in the federal government, there is time for public input, and it seems like we just don't have any. So with that, I did ask during my previous comment about how, and maybe the director, if you could fill in for us, how can we get the department to communicate that we're asking them to put on pause. That's a favorite word these days. To put on pause anything until the West VA campus director is able to come out here and speak to the commission.
Request that the chair or the vice chair.
Okay. All right. So then if maybe the chair or the vice chair is willing to do that, maybe we can get a letter out to them if the rest of the commissioners are okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me their information.
All right. I appreciate that. And again, I do want to say that I have been working with the director, and I thank you for everything that you have done in trying to communicate on behalf of us to the VA. And it's something that we really do need to address. I also want to report that I've reached out to my own congressional elected official and started briefing the individual about some of the concerns that I have started to see out of a number of documents that I've been reading, so that they're aware of what may be going on in this particular region. And I may be going up to some other congressional leaders as well to start raising the voice and the eyes of what's happening out here. And really, I think it's time for somebody to take a independent review and look as to what's happening here. That's all my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Evans?
Thank you, Co-Chair. Over the last few months, I've met with quite a few veterans and discussed the concerns about the West LAVA campus and the building out of the North Village. Many veterans are concerned. And so after listening to their concerns, I went and prepped my own statement, which I'd like to read now. Over the course of history, our nation has created systematic failures within our society due to the leadership's inability to ensure continuity with a long-term vision and a community-based philosophy for many of the cities, small towns, and neighborhoods built and developed across our nation. In regards to the master plan that was developed by veterans for veterans who will spend a significant portion of their lives living on the West LAVA campus, it is my opinion that we are nearing a similar scenario. Many of the residential that the VA has planned development outside of the North Village. And the developers will soon have the funding to break ground on projects that could leave the North Village development incomplete for many years to come. Perhaps there could be creative ways to bridge the gap, but at this point in time, there doesn't seem to be any answers. Across our cities, we consistently see new projects sprinkled into abandoned parking lots and shuttered buildings, creating a disorder of continuity within our communities. This normalcy of city life is something we're all used to, and it appears natural for the setting. My concern is that for veterans, and especially former homeless veterans, they need more consistency with their surroundings to assist them in their new journey of developing a sense of community, of personal growth, and of healing and managing their injuries and challenges. I know this path of healing is difficult because over the past decade, I have walked it myself. By developing buildings 408 and 409, I believe we are doing our veterans a great disservice. The VA campus is leasing these parcels to developers for 99 years. And this is an opportunity for one piece of this large city to be developed in a manner consistent with the long-term goals of completing one large project within the master plan. To date, the VA opened 379 units in the North Village. Currently, there are an additional 388 units in construction for the North Village. Why has the VA chosen to build out so much of the North Village in a responsible fashion and then shift its direction? And then shift its direction to another part of the campus? We know there is a housing voucher cap. The VA has stated it has received $361 million to complete the master plan. The principal developer was selected to build supportive housing and to focus on the needs of the campus residents and not to build projects intended to serve the broader community. I believe they should focus on one project, the North Village. It's the one project intended to exclusively care for homeless veterans. And that is my greatest hope that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. Okay. Looks like that brings us to our last, what do we do? Commissioner announcements? I don't see it. Okay. It brings us to our last agenda item. At this time, this meeting is adjourned.